Today, we're continuing studying English with the Friends Christmas episode where Rachel quits her job. Now, last week on our video, she quit her job. This week, she's just had a job interview and she's talking about it. We're going to use this scene to study American English pronunciation and figure out what makes American English sound American. Here's the scene we'll study today.
Hey, how'd the interview go?
Oh, blew it. I wouldn't have even hired me.
Come here, sweetie. Listen, you're gonna go on like 1,000 interviews before you get a job. That's not how that was supposed to come out.
This is just the worst Christmas ever.
You know what, Rach, maybe you should just, stay here at the coffee house.
I can't. It's too late. Terry already hired that girl over there. Look at her. She's even got waitress experience. Ugh.
And now the analysis.
Hey, how'd the interview go?
Chandler starts out up, down shape of stress. Hey, Hey, how'd the interview go?
Hey, how'd the interview go? Hey, how'd the interview go? Hey, how'd the interview go?
His H is not very clear or loud here. Hey, how'd the interview go?
Hey, how'd the interview go? Hey, how'd the interview go? Hey, how'd the interview go?
How'd the interview go? The stressed syllable of interview is the most stressed syllable in that whole thought group. And the first two words lead up to that peak. How'd the interview go? And the last three syllables come away from that peak. Now, are you noticing how that T is pronounced? Interview. It's totally dropped. It's fairly common to drop the T when it comes after N, like in interview, internet, international.
How'd the interview go? How'd the interview go? How'd the interview go?
The apostrophe D here is the word did. We can also do would. How do you do that? How would you do that? But in this case, it's did, how'd. Just a D sound at the end. How'd the. Now we don't release the D. We have the ow diphthong, ow, and then D voiced TH. How'd the. So the D is subtle. The tongue is in position. The vocal cords make the noise, but then the transition goes quickly into the voiced TH. Howdy. And Chandler does say the E as in she vowel for the word the instead of the. That's because the next word begins with a vowel or diphthong, and that is the rule. If the next word begins with a vowel or diphthong, the final sound of this word is the E as in she vowel. However, I have noticed Americans don't follow that rule very closely. But Chandler does here. The interview.
How'd the interview go? How'd the interview go? How'd the interview go?
Blew it.
Ugh. Just a sound of exasperation. Ugh. But even that has an up-down shape. Ugh.
Blew it.
I is really hard to hear, almost imperceptible. I blew it. I know it's there grammatically, but we really barely hear it. Blew. I blew it. Blew is the stressed syllable there.
Blew it. Blew it. Blew it.
I blew it. Blew it. She does release a true T here, and the two words link together very smoothly. If you blow something, that means you do a poor job at it. You can blow an interview, you can blow a test, you can blow a project, you can blow a first impression. Ugh, I blew it. It did not go well.
Blew it. Blew it. Blew it. I wouldn't have even hired me.
Okay, in her next sentence, what are our most stressed words?
I wouldn't have even hired me. I wouldn't have even hired me. I wouldn't have even hired me.
I wouldn't have even hired me. I has a lot of stress there. That's a little unusual. I wouldn't have even hired me. Hi, and a little bit on me too. So usually we don't stress I. But for the meaning in this sentence, she is, I wouldn't have even hired me.
I wouldn't have even hired me. I wouldn't have even hired me. I wouldn't have even hired me.
Let's listen to just those three words, wouldn't have even.
Wouldn't have even. Wouldn't have even. Wouldn't have even.
Wouldn't have even. Wouldn't have even. Wouldn't have even. Wouldn't have even. A little bit hard to tell that that's wouldn't have even if you hear just that. So wouldn't have becomes wouldn't have, wouldn't have, wouldn't have, wouldn't have.
Wouldn't have. Wouldn't have. Wouldn't have even.
Wouldn't have even becomes wouldn't have even. So the T, I listened to it a bunch of times to decide, did I think it was totally dropped or did I think it's a little bit of a stop T? I think you could do either. You could do a really light stop T or you could just drop it. Wouldn't have even, wouldn't have even, wouldn't have even, wouldn't have even. The H is dropped. The word have is reduced to schwa V. Wouldn't have even, wouldn't have even, wouldn't have even, wouldn't have even, wouldn't have even.
Wouldn't have even. Wouldn't have even. Wouldn't have even.
These kinds of simplifications are key in American English. They provide contrast to the stressed syllables, the stressed words, like the word hired.
Wouldn't have even hired me. Wouldn't have even hired me. Wouldn't have even hired me.
The ED ending in hired is a D sound because the sound before was voiced. It was the R consonant. Hired me. So we have the R sound, the D sound, and the M sound. The D is very subtle. I actually don't think I really hear it. I feel like it's more dropped. Hired me, hired me, hired me.
Hired me. Hired me. Hired me.
If anything, it's just a very subtle D sound in the vocal cords, just like up here, the D sound before the voiced TH. So it's not a clear D. It's not hired me, but it's hired me, hired me. If anything, it's just a very quick, subtle D sound, not released. Just the vocal cords vibrating with the tongue in the position.
Hired me. Hired me. Hired me.
Oh, oh. His voice sort of has a nasal quality to it here, I'm just noticing. Oh, oh. A little bit of sympathy. Oh.
Oh. Oh. Oh. Come here, sweetie.
What is our stress in this three-word thought group?
Come here, sweetie. Come here, sweetie. Come here, sweetie.
Come here, sweetie. Come here becomes come here. Come here, come here. The word come reduced, I would write that K schwa M. And actually M takes over the schwa. It's a syllabic consonant. So it's really just like KM. Come here, come here. The H is dropped. Come here, come here, come here. Come here, sweetie. Come here, sweetie.
Come here, sweetie. Come here, sweetie. Come here, sweetie.
And stress on that. Come here, sweetie. Sweetie with a flap T because the T comes between two vowels. Sweetie. Come here, sweetie. So it's not come here, it's come here. That's a very common way to pronounce those two words together. Come here. Come here, sweetie.
Come here, sweetie. Come here, sweetie. Come here, sweetie. Listen.
Listen. First syllable stress, we have that up-down shape. Listen. And the second syllable just comes in on the way down. The T in listen is silent. That's just the pronunciation. It's not something Americans do. It's the actual official pronunciation. Up here, the actual official pronunciation of here is with the H, but every once in a while we drop it like in this phrase. But in this word, it's just not ever pronounced. Listen.
Listen. Listen. Listen. You're going to go on like...
Okay, so he puts a little break here. So in this thought group, what do you hear as being the most stressed syllable?
You're going to go on like... You're going to go on like... You're going to go on like...
You're gonna go on like... You're gonna go. I hear go, the verb, as the most stressed. You are going to becomes you're gonna. You're gonna. You're gonna. You are your becomes your. Just a Y sound and an R sound. You don't need to try to make the schwa. R is also a syllabic consonant. It overpowers the schwa. Your. Going to becomes gonna. So you are going to is you're gonna. You're gonna go. You're gonna go.
You're going to go on like...
On and like, just falling in pitch away from the peak of stress at go. Go on like, go on like.
Go on like... Go on like... Go on like 1,000 interviews before you get a job.
Okay, and in this next thought group, what is the most stressed syllable?
1,000 interviews before you get a job. 1,000 interviews before you get a job. 1,000 interviews before you get a job.
1,000. I think thou has the most stress. 1,000 interviews before, a little bit of stress here as well, before you get a job. But I think the most stress is on 1,000. So that word begins with an unvoiced TH. You do need to bring your tongue tip through the teeth for that. 1,000.
1,000, 1,000, 1,000.
And the letter A here, just a schwa. 1,000. Oops, I just realized there's a typo here, isn't there? There's an A in that word. 1,000.
1,000, 1,000, 1,000 interviews.
Interviews. Again, he drops the T. It's a very normal and natural pronunciation. Interviews.
Interviews.
It's so weird. I have never noticed this about Ross before. And yes, I've seen this show, but his R in interviews and before is a little weak, which is a little bit of a New York accent. Interviews before
you get a job.
I definitely recommend you stick with a standard American accent, which does have a bit of a stronger R sound in those words. Interviews before you get a job.
Interviews before you get a job. Interviews before you get a job. Interviews before you get a job.
Before you get a job. Before you get a job. You can really feel that stress. Before you get a job. Da 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 da. It starts to feel like music a little bit when you study the stress. Before you get a job. You get a all lower in pitch, flatter. Again, the letter A is just a quick schwa linking the words together. The T in get is a flap T. It comes between two vowels. It links those words together. You get a job.
You get a job. You get a job. You get a job. That's not how that was supposed to come out.
So, of course, what he meant was it takes a lot of tries to actually get a job. What it sounded like was she's not going to interview very well and is going to have to do it 1,000 times before she gets a job. So that's what he meant when he said that's not how that was supposed to come out. We say that if we say something and the meaning didn't quite come across right. That's not how that was supposed to come out.
That's not how that was supposed to come out. That's not how that was supposed to come out. That's not how that was supposed to come out.
That's not how that was supposed to come out. Come out, a phrasal verb.
That's not how that was supposed to come out. That's not how that was supposed to come out. That's not how that was supposed to come out.
That's not how that was. So we have a full A vowel in that's both times. It doesn't reduce. That's not how that was. We have a stop T in this word, that was. It's not released. That would be that was overpronounced. We don't release our T's very often. This is a stop T because the next word begins with a consonant. The word was is not pronounced was. That's stressed. It was pronounced was. That's unstressed. That's not how that was supposed to come out.
That's not how that was supposed to come out. That's not how that was supposed to come out. That's not how that was supposed to come out.
Supposed to. These two words go together pretty frequently, and we don't say supposed to. We say supposed to. Supposed to.
Was supposed to come out.
Listen to just supposed to come.
Was supposed to come. Was supposed to come. Was supposed to come.
Supposed to come. Supposed to come. Supposed to come. So we lose the first syllable. We lose the vowel, and it's really just an SP. Spo. Spo. Then we have the O as a no diphthong in the stressed syllable. Spo. Sta. Sta. Then we have S, a true T or a flap T. Honestly, his T sounds weak to me, so I wouldn't write it as a true T. Sposta. Sposta. I would say that was more of a flap T D sound. Sposta. 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 and then a schwa. So supposed to, 3 syllables becomes 2. Supposed to, supposed to.
This is supposed to come out.
And a stop T at the end of out because it's at the end of a thought group.
This is supposed to come out. This is supposed to come out. This is supposed to come out.
It's just the worst Christmas ever.
So Phoebe, she's not feeling good about Christmas. I wrote this is, but I actually think it's. It's just it's hard to hear. People are laughing and it's not very stressed. But really, I think I'm just hearing an S sound or a TS sound, which means it would have been it instead of this is. It's just.
It's just the worst. It's just the worst. It's just the worst.
It's just the worst. Just a quick TS sound. We do reduce the word it's this way. We also reduce the word let's this way. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. And we reduce the word that's this way. It's okay, for example. That's okay can become it's okay. So we have a few words, also what is, what, that can reduce to just the TS sound. It's just the worst.
It's just the worst. It's just the worst. It's just the worst Christmas ever.
What is the stress of this phrase? We know it's is not stressed because it's reduced, it's low in pitch, and it's kind of hard to hear. But what are the stress syllables? The ones that are the clearest, the easiest to hear?
It's just the worst Christmas ever. It's just the worst Christmas ever. It's just the worst Christmas ever.
It's just the worst Christmas ever. Worst and ev have the most stressed. Now let's look at our T's. We have a bunch that are dropped. When a T is part of an ending cluster like the ST cluster and the next word begins with a consonant like it does here with the, that T is dropped. Just the. And that's what she does. Take a listen.
It's just the worst Christmas ever. It's just the worst Christmas ever. It's just the worst Christmas ever.
Then even in the stressed word worst, it's dropped because the next word begins with a consonant. So in both of those cases, even though the word just and the word worst, even though those words do have a T sound, the T was dropped because in this case, the T came between 2 consonants. Now in the word Christmas, the T also comes between 2 consonants and it's also dropped. Although I guess I shouldn't say it's dropped because dropped means that it's normally there. And it's actually not normally there. There is no T sound in Christmas, even though there is a letter T, because it comes between 2 consonants. Christmas, Christmas. So we have just the worst Christmas, but all with no T's. Just the worst Christmas ever.
It's just the worst Christmas ever. It's just the worst Christmas ever. It's just the worst Christmas ever.
You know what, Rach? Maybe you should just...
You know what, Rach? You know what, Rach? No, definitely the most stressed word of that 3-word thought group. You know what, Rach? The word you, I actually think that was reduced. I think not the oo vowel, but I think it was actually reduced to the schwa. Yeah, you know. You know what? That's a pretty common reduction for the word too. You know. You know what?
You know what? You know what? You know what, Rach? Maybe you should just...
And all of those words link together really smoothly. You know what? Stop T, end of the thought group. Rach. Again, up, down shape. It's a stressed syllable.
You know what, Rach? You know what, Rach? You know what, Rach? Maybe you should just...
Maybe you should just... And then the thought group ends here. There's a little pause. Let's look at these 4 words.
Maybe you should just... Maybe you should just... Maybe you should just...
Maybe you should just stress on may and just.
Maybe you should just. Maybe you should just. Maybe you should just.
You should just. Okay, we have a couple reductions here. The word should is pronounced sh. Just sh and a schwa said quickly, linking right into the next sound, which is the J sound of just. So the L is always silent, but the D was also dropped there. I've noticed we do this sometimes when the next word begins with a consonant. You should just, you should just, you should just. Then we also have a dropped T. Now why? Before we dropped the T in just because it linked into a word that began with a consonant. Here it doesn't. but it's just such a habit to not pronounce the T in just that we don't do it sometimes even when we pause. Maybe you should just, it simply ends in an S sound.
Maybe you should just, maybe you should just, maybe you should just,
You know. What's the stress there?
you know, you know, you know.
You know, it's definitely all no. And the word you, again, is reduced just like it was up here in the phrase, you know what? You know, you know.
You know, you know, you know, stay here at the coffee house.
And in the rest of this sentence, in this thought group, what are the most stressed syllables?
Stay here at the coffee house. Stay here at the coffee house. Stay here at the coffee house.
I'm getting stay a little bit on here, stay here at the coffee house. So 4 words that are a little bit longer. In the word coffee, the stressed word, it's only the stressed syllable that has that length. The unstressed syllable will still be very short. But at and the are not fully pronounced like that. They are lower in pitch, itta, flat, and the word at reduces. The vowel changes to the schwa. The T is a stop T, itta. Here at the.
Stay here. Stay here. Stay here at the coffee house.
I can't.
Her voice is really breathy here. She's a little bit, I don't know if desperate is the right word, exasperated, but she's frustrated, and that's what's coming out in her voice. That's what this extra breathiness is doing. I can't.
I can't. I can't. I can't.
Stress on the word can't. She does do a true T release. We often don't do that, so she's really stressing it by making that a true T. I can't.
I can't. I can't. I can't. It's too late.
It's too late. To and late, both stressed. And again, she does a true T release here, where we would often make that a stop T because it's at the end of a sentence. So by making these all true Ts, she's showing her desperation, her frustration. The T in the word TOO is always a true T.
It's too late. It's too late. It's too late. Terry already hired that girl over there.
What's our stress in this sentence?
Terry already hired that girl over there. Terry already hired that girl over there. Terry already hired that girl over there.
Terry, the name, the stressed syllable of Terry. Terry already hired that girl over there. Those are the most stressed syllables. Also, the word Terry also has a true T. We're actually getting some true T practice here because it begins a stressed syllable. Terry already hired.
Terry already hired. Terry already hired. Terry already hired.
Terry already hired. Terry already hired. Already. She's not making an L sound in the word already. And that's pretty common. I don't do that either. Already. Just a really quick vowel and then the stressed syllable. Already.
Terry already. Terry already. Terry already.
That's an aw as in law vowel. Already. Already hired that girl. Again, the D sound not released, just a quick vibration in the vocal cords before going on to the next sound. Hired that girl. Stop T in that because the next word begins with a consonant.
Terry already hired that girl. Terry already hired that girl. Terry already hired that girl.
Now, I know girl can be one of the trickiest words. It's got the R vowel, g, and then a dark L, girl. One thing that can help is to use the stress to your advantage. Use the up-down shape. Girl. And use that fall down in the pitch for your dark L. Girl over there.
Girl over there. Girl over there. Girl over there.
You do need to make sure you're making a dark sound, otherwise it won't sound right. It's not a light L, it's a dark L because the L comes at the end of the syllable. Girl. When I make that sound, I don't lift my tongue tip at all. Girl. Now, you will lift it quickly before the O diphthong to differentiate. Girl over. Girl over. But you want the dark sound before you lift your tongue tip. Otherwise, it sounds like girl. and that's not quite American. Girl. Girl over there.
Girl over there. Girl over there. Girl over there.
If you're a Spanish speaker, make sure you're making a V and not a B. V. You can see some of your teeth when you make that sound. If your lips are closed, then it's a B. Try to work on a separate V sound. Over there.
Girl over there. Girl over there. Girl over there.
And she laughs a little bit as she says there. There.
There. There. There. Look at her.
What's our stress in this 3-word thought group?
Look at her. Look at her. Look at her.
Look at her. Very obvious first word stress. Look at her. And then the unstressed words just come in on the way down for the pitch. Look at her. Now this is a light L because it comes at the beginning of the syllable, or in this case, the word. So you will lift your tongue tip. Look at her. The word at. What do you notice about the pronunciation?
Look at her. Look at her. Look at her.
It's not at, but it's it. Look at her. It almost sounds like the word it, which has the I as in sit vowel. It's the schwa. Look at her. And I think that the schwa and the I as in sit vowel sound pretty much the same when the I is unstressed and they're said quickly. Look at her. And there is a stop T there. Look at her.
Look at her. Look at her. Look at her.
The double O in look is the same vowel as in push or sugar. Don't let the double O fool you. It's not ooh, it's look. Look at her.
Look at her. Look at her. Look at her. She's even got waitress experience.
What's the stress of this last sentence?
She's even got waitress experience. She's even got waitress experience. She's even got waitress experience.
She's even got, little stress on even, she's even got waitress experience. I would say most of the stress is on that first syllable of waitress. She's even got waitress experience.
She's even got waitress experience. She's even got waitress experience. She's even got waitress experience.
The apostrophe S in she's is a Z sound that links right into the next vowel, which is the E vowel. She's even. She's even got. Try that. She's even got.
She's even got waitress experience.
A stop T at the end of got because the next sound is a consonant. Waitress experience.
Waitress experience. Waitress experience. Waitress experience.
Waitress. We have a TR cluster, and it's common for that to become CHR, and that's exactly what happens here. Waitress experience.
Waitress experience. Waitress experience. Waitress experience.
Experience. A 4-syllable word with stress on the second syllable. Experience. Experience. When you have a longer word that feels tricky, focus on the stress. That can help a lot with the pronunciation. It can help you figure out where to simplify. Experience. Experience.
Experience. Experience. Experience. Oof.
Oof. Even that expression has an up-down shape, the shape of stress. Oof.
Oof. Oof. Oof.
Let's listen to the whole conversation one more time.
Hey, how'd the interview go?
Blew it. I wouldn't have even hired me.
Come here, sweetie. Listen, you're gonna go on like 1,000 interviews before you get a job. That's not how that was supposed to come out.
This is just the worst Christmas ever.
You know what, Rach? Maybe you should just, stay here at the coffee house.
I can't. It's too late. Terry already hired that girl over there. Look at her. She's even got waitress experience. Ugh.
If you love learning English with TV, we do have a whole playlist for that. Check it out. And if you love this kind of full pronunciation analysis, I do a lot of it in my academy. My academy is where I help students train and really reach their accent, their pronunciation goals. It's Rachel's English Academy. There's a 30-day money-back guarantee, so don't be afraid to try it. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I make a new video every Tuesday. That's it, guys, and thanks so much for using Rachel's English.